Western modern individuals are diagnosed with a sickness of the spirit. If you'd like to learn what this sickness of the spirit means, where it comes from and why it arose, then listen to this entire video where I explain the dissociation that has happened within humans, which has given rise to this illness of the soul, let's say. So before we get into this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to learn more about self-development, dating, and how to reduce suffering in life. Let's get into it. All right, so I will first tell a little bit of a background story or to understand what this sickness is or where it comes from. So there are some things in life that we understand, we have articulated in our minds, in our consciousness, and there are some things we have absolutely no idea about. We don't understand at all. For example, I know I'm wearing a blue tank top and my name is Henry, and there's some things that are articulated and formulated in my mind. Then there are some things which I don't know at all about. Now, between this layer of unarticulated, unknown knowledge and the articulated knowledge is a buffer, which contains the things we kind of know something about, but in an unarticulated way. Like we don't have it formulated in our brains, in our conscious minds, in our awareness, but we somehow know it. Now, an example for that would be if you are, if you're in an argument with someone and they say something, and that gives rise to this like resistance within you. Like you start to feel angry and agitated and sort of there's tension within you. But you don't know why. They said something, but you feel it, but you don't know why. You're not thinking it. Or another example is, I can say for myself, the second time I broke up with my girlfriend, I sort of knew it was coming to an end, and but I was quite afraid because the first time I broke up with her, I cried all night long. That was pretty bad. So I thought, uh-oh, this is going to end bad again if I break up the second time. And then I was on the phone with her and she said, you know, I can't believe you're jeopardizing the relationship, because I was telling her how it's going downhill for me, how I'm dissatisfied with the status quo of the relationship. And she said, I need a break. And I sort of knew then, okay, this is over. And she hung up. And I was expecting myself to be sort of feeling depressed or something, but actually I caught myself with a smile on my face the second she hung up. Somehow, my body, I knew that the breakup was good for me in a way that I was not conscious of and I had not articulated in my consciousness. What this means is, our bodies, or we know some things at some levels which we are not able to articulate and formulate and explain on another level, but we know it without sort of being conscious of it. Like your body knows it, and your body knows things in or expresses the knowledge in terms of like mood swings, emotions, behaviors, thoughts, or images that you have in your head. And you don't know where these things come from, but they pop up, you know. So what this means is, Jordan Peterson calls this like a dream. So it's like the buffer between the complete unknown and the articulated knowledge is like a dream, which like gives rise to information, gives rise to knowledge, which we have not formulated clearly. And the dream is also where artists evolve or revolve around, because artists observe people, they observe this sort of unarticulated knowledge in people, and they try to create a piece of art which articulates this knowledge, like paintings or music. You know how when you listen to music, sometimes you feel like you're in a trance when you listen to it, and your body is like quivering or feels like it is part of the music. You don't know why, but clearly there's something going on which your body knows, but you don't consciously know. And this is where, because artists sort of observe this knowledge, and they distill it into a representation of reality, of knowledge. Yeah. So, and the artist, or this buffer, is like a bridge to the unknown. It sort of like absorbs the unknown knowledge, like the things we have no idea about. It sort of grabs it, or hauls it in, and tries to sort of deliver it or bridge it to your conscious articulated mind through dreams, through random thoughts and feelings that occur. And what you can say then is the conscious articulated knowledge is a distilled version of the underlying knowledge which we know nothing about. It's, obviously you have reality, or the reality of experience that is happening, like objectively, and all our knowledge is based on that. It's an abstraction of that. Now, if the underlying knowledge and our articulated knowledge are out of sync, they become dissociated, and that is when the sickness of the spirit arises. It's either when the articulated and unarticulated knowledge is out of sync, or when our articulated knowledge and the bridge, like the dream, is out of sync. And this happens then when you start to think things you don't act out, and act out things you don't dream. So you're thinking things you don't act out. So you have these ideas that are not accurate representations of reality. These are deformed ideas, like some ideologies, and you're thinking it, but you're behaving in a different way. So your behavior is still aligned to reality, to the underlying structure of experience, because it is a direct connection to the bridge, your behavior, because you behave sometimes in ways you don't understand, because sometimes, we are not really in control in a lot of our domains of behavior. You want to be disciplined, you want to do a lot of sport, you want to stop drinking, you want to do all these things, study harder, but you're obviously not in control of it. There's something else that is working. So, and that might be this bridge, this unarticulated knowledge manifesting itself in your behavior, whilst you have some weird ideology, some weird thought in your brain which is not in sync with the dream. Or you act out things that are not in sync with the dream, with the bridge, so you start behaving in ways that are not aligned with true representations of reality. And this produces a sickness of the spirit. And sort of the way to solve that would be to find a belief system that integrates the dream with the articulated knowledge and with the behavior, let's say. So, and what occurred with the death of God and with Christianity, and this is now where modern civilization or modern Western individuals come into play, is that Christianity was like a bridge. It played the role of the bridge for individuals in the West, and it taught them, it gave them the dream, the information on their own nature, on their own human nature, and told them, represented how they should behave that was healthy and aligned with the true nature of reality. And of course, when the scientific revolution occurred, religion, Christianity sort of declined in its prominence, and God was sort of dead, as Nietzsche claimed. So what happened was the house that protected and gave structure to the individuals in the West had been, collapsed. The foundation had been pulled out, so the house collapsed. And then humans were bare in the harshness of reality and had nothing to protect themselves with, so they desperately scrambled to, or nowadays too, they desperately scramble to whatever will give them grip or a way to formulate their thoughts in society, in life, and those would be ideologies, for example, which Jordan Peterson calls parasites sitting on top of a on a truthful underlying system like religion, and he calls them a crippled religion, like with one arm and one leg, which hobbles along. And the thing is, I like to sort of portray it like this: religion and Christianity was an island which gave humans a stable foundation to stand on, which is dirt and rock and stones and sand. It was solid. And then a tsunami came and washed it over, and the island disappeared. And then you're in nihilism, in the belief that nothing has any meaning, and there's nothing better than anything else in life, and everything is just full of suffering. And then you're in the water. You're sort of on the verge of drowning. And then an ideology comes along, which is a raft, which gives you some sort of stability, which you scramble onto because you're on the verge of drowning. But the raft is a raft. It's not an island. It is unstable and wobbly and not grounded in a solidified foundation. Yes. And you can see how important belief systems are to people, or to have this sort of belief system in life with which to interpret the world and organize their ideas and thoughts and beliefs. Because when you challenge someone's belief system nowadays, they get very defensive and very emotional and very agitated, and if you go too far, they'll become vindictive towards you. And you can see that nowadays very often. When you try to have a rational, sophisticated, honest discussion with some people about belief systems, you're not really talking to them, and you're not really trying to discuss what is best for everybody or what's the right belief system, but it's just discussions between people trying to defend themselves and trying to bash the others. So they come out of the argument as the superior belief system, because they don't want to have to face the harshness or the harsh reality that their belief system is suboptimal and actually flawed. Yeah. So what you're doing is you would be pulling out the logs of the raft, and they would be like stumbling over and again on the brink of falling into the water of nihilism, let's say. And Nietzsche also predicted when Christianity died or God died, that humans would be oscillating between nihilism and sort of rigid totalitarian ideologies. And that is what happened in the 20th century very precisely, and I think what we're still facing today. And what I find very interesting is Jordan Peterson calls this the most pressing problem of modern, or of people nowadays, and it is a growing problem also. So that's very interesting. So we should try and solve this problem, try and reconnect the dream with the human, the bridge to the unknown, this true mediator or bridge for humans. Yeah. So in conclusion, the sickness of the spirit arose due to a dissociation between the articulated knowledge we have and the underlying reality, the truthful reality. And because we used to have a bridge, which was sort of Christianity, which supported or encouraged spirituality and dreaming and intuition, and that collapsed. So the bridge, or the mediator between the unarticulated foundational knowledge and the articulated knowledge became out of sync, and then a sickness of the spirit arose. Yes. Where you start to think things you don't act out, and you start to act out things that are not in aligned with this bridge, with this dream, let's say. Yeah. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you'd like to learn more about self-development, dating, and how to reduce suffering in life. Thank you for listening.